account and then teach in the necessary computer engineering, and this was easier. Teaching computer engineering to Vidwans was easier than teaching Bhashya structure to engineers. That's difficult. And this is, then they can expand and go ahead. So I very impressed. I mean, a couple of them, Dr. Raghavendra Aroli, who is a Nyaya PhD and all that, he is just about 35. So he is well studied. His basic Shastra thing, which is usually 8 to 10 years of study in one, Nyaya and Tarka. And then he studied Vedanta under Manidravida Shastrigalu. He can use LaTeX if people have heard of it, and he can mark up all these texts, etc. So all these things. Then we have the computer engineers who sit and help in navigating. So once but the structure of the text, etc., we need Vidwans, traditional Vidwans. Otherwise, identifying this, that pratika, and then from where that is coming from, the Mula text is there. So this is one kind of resource which we have. And then this is our most ambitious project which has just started. Ganapati Homam in regard to this was conducted in Sringeri under the Jagadguru's directions, the date, etc. And as you can see below, all rights reserved by Dakshinamnaya Sri Sharada Peetham Sringeri. So it's a site owned and copyrighted by Sharada Peetham. So authenticity is etc. And the foundational pillars of Dharma will be hosted on this site, that are grouped into Shruti, Smriti and Purana. And Shruti is Vedo Kilo Dharma Malam. Vedas are the roots of Dharma. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvana. If you take Rigveda, this is one which is already developed. So Rigveda has two ways of classification. You can do it the Mandala way or the Ashtaka. And both are available. You can click whichever mandala you want to choose. You can choose that will have many suktas. You can choose whatever sukta, all the mantras appear. And so the Samhita Pata and the Padapata of that mantra, and then the Sayana Bhashya, and everything is tagged. What is the Rishi, Devata and Chandas. For example, if you want to know what are the mantras for which Ashwino is the Devata, you get all the list. So whatever is the further. And Padanukkramanika, every word in Rigveda has been tagged. And with multiple, see, in addition to word itself, one of the things about Veda is that Swara carries extra information. My favorite example is this Puraha. It comes in two ways. One is Puraha, another is Puraha. And they mean different things. One Puraha is in front, Purato. Another Pura is Pattana, town. So it's different. So all that, so it depends on the Swara structure. So they may appear in various, for example here, Ashyam, Ashyam. It's a pada, but until the places where they occur, and you can go directly to the. So for study purposes, etc., this is very helpful. And Sringeri Jagadus are saying that unfortunately over the period of time currently, Veda Dhyana got restricted to Parayana, Ganapat. But to who are going to study the Bhashyas and the Vedangas? So Ganapat is there, but then that's the Parayana part, the internal etc. So they are making efforts to train people in Veda Bhashya, Vedanga and all. But one requirement is to start studying Veda Bhashyas, it should be available. Now Yajurveda, as I said, it's old text, 100 year, 100. Bhatta Bhaskara Bhashya was published by the Mysore Maharaja under the editorship of Alladi Mahadev Shastri. So that was 1894 print. 1904 it was printed again, but after that no. So all that has to be brought into the thing. So this is the thing which we are heading for. So that was the one. Okay. Yeah. And then the okay. Let me just go home. Yeah, and then the Smriti. Smriti is to Dharma Samhita ityamaraha. It's from Amara. Smriti is the code of Dharma. So the Veda forms the basis, the axioms. And the Smriti codifies and does whatever the various thing. And the Purana is Vedoktam principles, the story form. So whatever is Vedoktam Tattvam, and then in the form of stories, the Purana they teach. So this is the thing. Veda contains the basic principles. This is in practical code, and then through stories. So Purana has variety. Same Purana might occur in 10 different avataras. That is not. But Smriti is sort of. Ramayana, Mahabharata essentially one essential. The other is. Okay. So in this Smriti, again, this is actually the most, so to speak, unorganized and extraordinarily huge. All the Shauta Samhitas, Shruti Samhitas, all come in this Smriti, Manusmriti, and for us here, so there is a very phenomenal work done by Panduranga Vamana Kane, P.V. Kane, who was, I don't know, many of us don't know that he was one of the first Bharata Ratnas here. So for 40 years he went through this and compiled this about nearly 8,000 pages of material in 8 different volumes. And again, they are available in books. So as a first step, we have, of course, this is some information about the person. This is P.V. Kane. So we have digitized and put on the thing. And the point is, we just don't. See, digitization, there is a most widely accepted thing is not that well understood. See, the more important thing is when you have a copy of a physical book, it's a 3-dimensional object. You can flip it, go through it, etc., flip pages, go to the end, come to the beginning, etc. But once you put it in the computer, you lose one dimension. It's 2-dimensional. So you can either go to the next page or the previous page. So this hampers this thing. So you have to build in other kinds of facilities to overcome this defect, that loss of one dimension, as mathematically we put it. So you have to put a lot of other kinds of tools. For example, if this is a 1,000-page book, okay, I'll give you volume 1 is here, take it. Now, how are you going to navigate through that? See what page, you say, okay, page 690, you have to go there. It's very difficult. So this has been organized, and these are the various volumes, as you can see, totally 5 volumes in 8 books. So even when you click on this, our digitization, it doesn't throw the PDF at you, huge book. It takes you to the table of contents, because that's how you approach a book. And as you can see, meaning of Dharma, sources of Dharma. So now it's on the net. All of you can enjoy reading that. It's an image format. The archive reader takes the JPEG image. From PDF, we have to take it. It's for search purposes, yes. No. Because, see, this 8,000 pages text format is proofreading. Who will do? Proofreading. It's very important. So, tells you which book it is available. So, it's Upakarma. So, there are about 12 to 15 pages of material with all kinds of explanations and pramanas. See, pramanas are the things which are important to us. So, over a period of time, once, see, this is, let me tell you, these 8 books are indexed to the Moola. It's not even the Moola. So, you can imagine the Moola size. This says, for example, he gives many references. So, then you go to that Moola and put that Moola, the original text. That's all. So this is an index to this, navigating through this huge one. So this is very beautiful, and I hope many of you will look at it and see how the date is determined. What is Upakarma? Why Rigveda Upakarma? What is the important thing? So that Rigveda, it is a Shravana Nakshatra, is a very important thing. If Shravana Nakshatra, there are certain clauses. If, for example, if it has a, what is called the Vedi from the previous star, Uttarashada Vedi, if it is a slight injection, then the Upakarma is not done on that day. Then what is the alternate? And if on that day Grahana is there, then what is the alternate, etc. All this is very beautifully done. This is very neat one. In fact, that's what I call as a lively thing. It is equal important for us. So if you look at it, it's enlightening. It's very enlightening. And I am very amazed by the fact, some of these astronomical facts. For example, all the masas which we have, Chaitra, Vaishakha, Jyeshta, Ashada, I don't know how many of you know that they are named that way because the Paurnime, the nakshatra will be that. For Shravana Masa, Shravana nakshatra will be on the new moon day, full moon day, plus or minus this way, that's all. That's and I am very amazed at this cycle. And this is very helpful in deciding the Adhika Masa. Now we have Adhika Shravana. Then why is it Adhika Shravana? Why it's called and why it comes? Oh, Shravana. Why can't it be the previous one Adhika? That's all that is determined by that, and it's quite amazing. I don't know how they managed to do this in those times, and the references are all very, very old. So this is the sort of roughly the scheme, and in this I can tell you some very astonishing things. In Sayana Bhashya, for example, he very casually mentions, it is not in the Veda, it's not in Rigveda, but in the Rigveda Bhashya of Sayana, in a particular mantra vibrating, he just says, Smaryate, let's recall that ray of light takes that much time to reach from the sun to the earth. And if you put the estimate of Yojana and all as given in other Puranic texts and all, and they have a value, you get exactly the velocity of light with very little correction. So it's in 14th century, and he also is not saying he is original. He is saying let's recall. So which means it was known that time. It's very amazing because in some sense the Western world, they had not realized that light has a finite velocity. So Galileo was one of the first person to try to find the speed of light standing on two hills. So even the finiteness was not known, and here there is giving the exact velocity. This is an amazing thing. Nobody has been able to explain this. You can't even say it's an interpolation in a later time because there are manuscripts of the Sayana Bhashya available before Michelson estimated the velocity of light. Rigveda. It's in Sayana Bhashya, it's not in the Mula Mantra also. He just says, Maryate, let's recall that light takes so much time to come from sun to earth, that's it, and then moves on. So it's very astonishing. So there's a lot of knowledge hidden there, very interesting and lively. You get engrossed in that. This Upakarma date, how it is determined, what is it exactly, etc. So with this, I hope once these basic texts are made available, people can celebrate these things with more meaningful. It won't become an empty thing, this one, etc. And the Panchanga all takes on new meaning. They are all very nice things, etc. So this is the task we have set upon ourselves, and hopefully with Jagadguru's anugraham, we will get somewhere in this. But as I said, just go and see. As long as you can go, you just go, and then see how it matters. And so when this was mentioned, Rupa Shrikant was very happy and said she has to reach a wider audience, because one of the most important things for this is the fun part of the thing. So as far as the scholarship part of it is concerned, that we have now fairly huge power. That's Sringeri Sharda Pitam is behind us, so the scholars are there. And a very astonishing thing is there are lots of young scholars who are interested in studying it, and it's very important. I will give you one example of that. In one, there is a very important sukta, Asyavamiya sukta in Rigveda, and in one of the mantras there is a word called Chala Chala Saha. So when English commentators write on this, they all study Vedas, learning Sanskrit basic and then using a dictionary. And Chala Achala. So he said moving and not moving. So that mantra says essentially, it's a wheel with 360 spokes, 3 axles, and is moving continuously. That is the intent of the original thing. But the English translation has become, and now all these 360, 3 axles are all easily interpretable. It is Earth's movement around the sun. And the seasons, roughly, 6 seasons grouped into 2 each, etc. But then, the English Wilson, when he translated, he said, oh, it's a wheel with 360 spokes, 3 axles, sometimes moving, sometimes not moving. He said, Chala Achala Saha. But the Padapata also just says Chala Chala Saha. It does not split, because Padapata is the one which tells you to what extent you can. Because Sanskrit is such a language that you can interpret it. Chala Chala Saha, you can say Cha, La Saha. You make a mistake and you can explain. They can have that kind of power. But the Padapata tells you what grade you have to split. So there they retain it as Chala Chala Saha. So then in the original thing, and Chala Chala Saha, maybe there are many people who are familiar with Sanskrit, and you meet a Vidwan and tell him this pada, Chala Chala Saha, immediately will quote as Panini pada. Tirichilipati nama, Durubhava, you. That is, when you want to stress this in Indian languages, you repeat the word, beg, borrow. This is, it's not there in another language. English doesn't have. So when some Kannada native speakers try to speak English, they do this mistake. Shall I put them in separate files, sir? So separate is the usage. So this Charichilipati Nama, the moment you say Chala Chala Saha, any Sanskrit Vidwan, he will immediately say this means he wants to set on that word, it is in continuous motion. That's why he saying Chala Chala Saha. It is continuously moving. And this, the not so well-versed English person interpreted as Chala and Achala Saha, and thereby completely destroying the meaning. So this is the importance of these ones. And okay, one defense I have to make for the Western scholars also, by and large, of course, there are many who have some vested interests and want to come and do it. But there are many who are really sincere seekers of knowledge. So I might mention one name which may be very famous or infamous here, Sheldon Pollock, for example. There are many accusations of him, but then I know him since 2008, so I sent a mail about Advaita Sharada also to him and showed him the site. He said, Yoga, this is what we want from India, because for us everything is two-dimensional, Bhashya. But it is you who can give that presentation angle, that division, that pratika, etc. He said, so their archives, there is one Sarit, Sanskrit text archival and retrieval site. There he said, we just take the text, neatly get it typed, proofread it, and put it as it. No division, no presentation layer. So he said, this is what we expect from you people. And I was very happy for this and introduced me to a whole lot of people in that. So Advaita Sharada is being used very, very widely throughout the world. Lots of seekers use it because it's very important. And it's not even, amusingly, it's not even restricted to only Advaita followers, because even Vishishta Advaita and Dvaita people, because they don't have such archives, they rely upon this. They say we know where the differences are, so we can get the basic thing. For example, all the Moola, they can take it from here, etc. So that's the one. So about roughly the scheme we have, one can keep on talking about it. But the most important, as I said, is fundraising activity for this thing, and we estimate, for example, a very rough estimate, for a period like next 4 years, where we want to get the basic thing, the 4 Vedas, then the Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavata with the Vakyas, one of the principal Vakyas, Sridhariya, Nilakantiya, and then the Purana, all the major Puranas, and maybe there are some text deviations, etc., indicate them, etc. So a rough estimate is about 10 to 12 crores over a period of 4 years to technology. And the happy thing about this is about 60 to 70% of it goes to the Vidwans. So in some sense, you will be directly contributing to the growth rather than peripherals, because most of the time when we do, it is for the peripherals we pay a lot of money. The originals won't, but in this case, the people get. And this grew out of Sriranga Digital Technologies, because this kind of work is not a product for someone to give, therefore there is a separate foundation for it where people can donate. And then we have the best practices, it's called GitHub for people who know, so that scholars need not come to Mysore or Bangalore to do all this work. For example, one of our scholars is in Raghavendra Aroli, is in Sringeri, other 2 husband and wife are in Jaipur. Srisha is in Mysore. So wherever they are, they use the practices of internet code development, and they use GitHub. And that's another thing I want to bring people from the many places to the places work. Because important here is they all have their ancient houses and temples. So it's a dilemma for them. If they come here, the temple will not be. They have to. This one helps them in continuing that and contributing to this. Yeah, but the audio part has to. Mic to okay. Let me see. Mic, it's. Yeah. Once I get it. This Pasana Pramanika I would like to show you. That might give some. So you might say, what's a mathematician doing here? So when you want to index something like this, you need all the power. This is A is a word, and in Rigveda it appears so many times. And Kannada is a built in Bloomfield and all, but this is the most authentic Kannada. So. But it takes a presentation. That's not difficult. Volume you can brief it. Okay. I think I remove this. I will get it. Okay, Siri. And there are things that can be done, and I'll say the only limit, and we can. Okay, I think essentially true. So Sanatana Sampati is active, and people can see, and I mean, there, Advaita Sharada is there, and for people who are familiar, the Dejamarajana Grantaratnamala is also digital. This has become a passion for me to make this text available on the internet, so that wider usage. So I might want to show. These are the books, about 350 volumes published under the aegis of Mysore Maharaja, and it is an unparalleled work. For example, Veda, most of them are taking for this, and such exhaustive, like the side by side, if you want full information, it's only in this book, and it has all information. I mean, the Chala information and all, it was taken from this book, and then the Rebbe Samhita was a company of 36 volumes. So again, it is Mandala and all that, and Aitariya Brahmana, Nirukta. Nirukta, we have to link it to the word itself, so that Nirukta and this Vakya will all get there. And this is 32,000 pages of material. So when we did this, and I gave a copy to Swami Ashananda, who was the Ramakrishna Math here, he said, yeah, and I realized the worth of this, because he had to struggle with the volume, because it's very big, 1,000 pages and very large font. So it's a very good book. So he said when he was compiling the Encyclopedia of Hinduism, he had to refer to this, and he said it was quite a troublesome thing. Somebody gave him and he applied all this 30 volume for some 12,000 rupees, but I devoted it, and then he said it's very difficult to navigate through. Now I can see the easy which you can see. And he said, so please go ahead, and there are other things which you can and you put them also on the web. And then I said, I will do that for and get it released by you, and I managed to do that to me. And this is Ratmana, Buddha, Shavita, and Shonishat. Yeah, the Upanishad has one. This is Allah Upanishad. People think it was Allah Upanishad. So even if they have nothing left out of it. And for me, it became very interesting project to trace people who translated things. I suggested people in the project management, such huge variety, and then how do you manage to assemble people and do it? One very important thing I noticed is that, like, present did not say all questions. How can I do it? I did people who are always in the project, and then saw where they were lacking, and then provided this. So it helped them, and they. So you're publishing an analysis of Then he writes, when he was giving up the manuscript, but did not have the means to print it. Then he got a new copy of Mala, saying that you please one hour balance and put it. The project was very simple. Will pay for the entire thing, and he wanted copies of the book. That silk bound, calico binding and all that. That's it. And the last all the thing came under the so like that it. It was very happy meeting all the different. And everybody said you don't have also very happy, including the last and in of Jay Shankara. He dedicated the second book called Program and I attended DVD. He said, yesterday I managed to get that from second book. And I all the 170 book working. Plus one. And so I started launching the catching an elephant in a small villa. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, then you can ask suggestions. Welcome. I think I've already taken a lot of time. But that's one thing about this. Corpus is huge. It just goes and go on talking and talking. So I think I'm with it. Yeah. No, that is original scanned. Oh, that is text. All the way. But it works. And one nice thing is because it's on the web. And for example, a couple of people wrote to me saying that I found mistakes. And then once you data identity and scholarship is proved, I give them access. They can correct. Yeah, so that like that. Because unlike in a book, you can correct on the identity. And this is where I have to sort of take some good points from that Sarit, which is Sanskrit text archival and retrieval. Right? They are posted in GitHub and the corrections are tracked. In our case, corrections are not examined. Of course, it's there because whenever you change, you get the version control. But then, for example, Sringeri Shankara Mutt is teaching these texts regularly to students. Currently, that thing is being done. Whenever the corrections are happened, they give us underneath. That's all. So multiple effects the one. So maybe Advaita Dara that will show once and I stop because it shows the depth of our length and depth. This is another very huge project. This was a book which was like this. Yeah, starting from Padma Bhuva, Balarayana Vasi Vyasa. Shankaracharya has made his appearance. Here. So when you click on any, for example, so you get information about another kritis. Idea is to track this. For example, this ASS is a library, and the number of the ASS, and that manuscript will be happen, and that work has been done. This was compiled by a University Sanskrit this one. So that this is the internet printing of the book. So it's extremely huge. So it comes quite. So whenever you have some ordinary one of our very big contributors. This is in Madras Government Oriental Manuscript Library. This is the accession number. So if the manuscript thing is also given, The idea is to get hold of that digitized manuscript and put it on the web itself so people can study. Put it on the web so that people can study. You can liberate it. It's because 10 scholars sitting in one corner can't do much. It's too huge. So that's the idea. So this Advaita Dhara is also a project. And another we have is what is called, because all these scholars will be there in where, etc. They would have been. And that is my real goal. Because text is made available, but then the real value is that team of scholars who will be away, who would have gone through this text, therefore involved, etc. The exclusion, and that would be a university-like thing. So it can. So with the grace of the Jagadgurus and Sharadamba, I hope this project will go some distance, and I'm very happy to have come here and given this presentation of our efforts to all of you. So I thank Lakshmi Narasimha and Rupa Shrikant. So as she said, we met on the Twitter, actually, to be precise. So, and then common interest and found it, etc. In fact, I have found Twitter very valuable yet to find lots of such people in mathematics and things like that. So, because I am interested in lots of things, so it's very helpful. So thank you very much. I look forward to interacting with you again and to carry forward this Sanatana Dharma, this thing, so we can. Any questions you can ask. Yeah. 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 Okay. Instead of proof correction, you give me the text, I will type it. Because one problem with Indian language is correction kashta. ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಪದ ತಪ್ಪಿದರೆ ಆ ಲೆಟರ್ನೇ ನೀವು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಹೊಡೆದು ತೆಗಿಬೋದು. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕ್ಷ ಇನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರು ಕ್ನಾಂತ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದರೆ ವಿಚ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್